Fukuwa Mina Kawaiso.
Yeah, Kawaii Complex was the second thing I read this week after finishing Shokugeki no Soma. Andrew really wanted me to read it.
That's why you kept talking. Okay, sorry.
Shokugeki or
Kawaii Complex.
Yeah.
I was like, why is there so much to talk about?
Because we're going to talk about it real quick. Yeah. We'll do a quick 5-10 minutes real quick of this.
So,
this is a series, for me, I'll just say this real quick. This is a series that I was scrolling through. I needed a new manga to read, and I thought this was Fuka. And I accidentally clicked it, and it was Kawaii Complex, and I'm so happy it was Kawaii Complex.
I thought you were saying Faku for a second.
And it's one of my favorite series in romance, and Ritsu is best girl.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Kawaii Complex. It's got some really enjoyable characters. It's got an interesting setting. I like the dynamic.
Summarize it real quick.
Basically, it's our main character moves in to it's not a apartment complex. It's kind of like a house a very large house that a bunch of people are living in, and we have
the old lady,
the landlady, who's an old lady.
You have her
niece,
yes.
Her niece, who is our love interest, Andrew's best girl. And then we have 2 other girls who are living there, and then MC's pseudo roommate,
who's
who
a masochist.
also happens to be a masochist. Yes, and pretty much all your characters here are very enjoyable. They're decently well developed. They all have their own unique personalities, and other ones show up. I think it's the highlight of it is
it's characters.
Good character dynamics.
Yeah, it's like
they all work well with each other. They have their own specific relationships within that.
They have
group.
all their ongoing jokes that continue, like the jokes about the masochist being a masochist. You have the jokes about the 20-year-old wearing a lot of makeup. You have the jokes where the older lady, she just keeps she just wants to get married, and all of her friends are getting married except for her.
Yeah, it's basically all these characters have their own little gimmick, and they use that gimmick to play off of each other in various different ways.
Mm-hmm.
They all have a specific dynamic that they have with every other character within that living space. So it's kind of cool to see how they all interact differently, and when they're in groups versus when they're not in groups.
When they're
so it's like an in-depth look on relations between people.
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah, and under the main storyline of a romance.
And even though the main characters are high school, it feels a lot more of a mature show with the adult characters being there.
I don't think it's more mature than certain high school ones are. It's just the level of writing.
Yeah.
Not the setting as much, because as much as the high school setting is supposedly overdone, and I'd say it probably is. I think it still can be.
I like the setting of
a great place.
The
I think the settings that it has definitely fits well with it. Its main 3 settings are the school, the complex, and then one other place that I'm not going to mention because I'm just going to call it the cafe. Because anything more would be spoilers.
And how about the romance?
The romance, I think it's good. Out of all the romances I read this week, it was not the best, but it was up there. It was definitely good.
I love it because it's just the amount of the main character just love at first sight. It's not really love at first sight. He has an appreciation and wants to get to know her, but it's basically love at first sight. He sees a girl,
and he's like, "You're really interesting." And from that point on, he's like, you know what? Since you're so interesting, I want to get to know you. And it's pretty much from the beginning that definitely holds.
Love at first sight doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not
love
at first sight. It's interest that definitely holds a romantic tinge to it, and that slightly grows as it goes on.
Yeah, and you kind of see it's a gradual sort of as you see the love develop between the 2 mains.
Yeah, exactly. It's meant to be a.
And then it's also a story where you start as a kundere. You have the main character start as a kundere, and then go into a tsundere.
A tsundere, yeah. She's moving her way along slowly but surely.
Moving her way up.
Which I'm really mad that we still haven't gotten a new chapter. Thank you,
Moving her way
Crunchyroll.
along the Darius. Yeah.
Hey, this
is still publishing in a monthly, which monthlies are painful to me.
And especially when the translators aren't translating you.
Yeah. Honestly.
They're going to the beach next. Okay.
And then we get a beach episode finally.
Oh
Or
my
a beach,
god,
a
if they
beach chapter.
do a confession at the beach, I'll be so happy.
But yes, I finished Shokugeki, and then I read Kawai Complex.
And, wait, let's end this.
Before we move on.
Can you recommend this?
I would recommend.
I would recommend this for Connor.
Really?
Yeah, I think I
don't know if I can see
I
Connor.
think watching
doing
Demon
this.
King skewed your taste, you knowing what I like.
No, but it's a little bit unique. I feel like there's a lot of uniqueness to it with the characters.
I can't see Connor reading it.
I'll have to wait.
I don't think.
I watched Working recently enough that I'll have to wait.
Yeah,
I don't know if Connor. I didn't watch the anime.
Yeah,
I don't know if Connor would like the anime, but I don't think Connor would ever read.
that's why I'd say
romance.
the anime goes basically up to the point where she gets forced out to go to the group date,
The mixer.
and then it ends with the cell phone scene in the chapter right after.
Spoilers are happening. It's too late. Just go with it.
No, it's not. I'm being very vague about it.
That's not vague at all. That is not vague at all. This is like exactly what happened. But yeah, I would recommend it. Connor, don't read it. Maybe watch it. I don't know.
If you watch it and you enjoyed it, then there's more in the
then
manga.
maybe you could
There's
read
30
it.
chapters in the manga.
So I have a question. Did this ruin my recommendations for you guys from now on? Just
Nope.
wondering. Okay.
It changed absolutely nothing
Good.
because I understand this is nostalgia based, not actual taste based.
So people.
Plus, it
still choose my things
reinforces
from the hat.
it reinforces the Connor likes things that are unique based on what he's seen so far.
Yeah.
Notion.
So keep going with the manga.
But yes,
Oh, are you,
I
keep going. I didn't know you were.
finished Kawai Complex.
Caught up.
I caught up with Kawai Complex.
It's not done yet.
I finished, I believe it's a shoujo called Hibi Chow Chow, which was a interesting romance. I moved from that to Horimiya, I believe, which
Which is the really depressing one.
no, it's not the really depressing.
No, which one was it?
The one I read next, which I don't know the actual name of, so I apologize. This one,
It's alright. We've been referring to characters as their color.
Yeah,
for,
as by their
half
hair
of
color.
This entire thing.
so you're just gonna have to live with it. But I read Hibi Chow Chow's okay. I wouldn't recommend it, but it was a decent romance to help me along. Horimiya is now my number one favorite romance.
Okay, so
for sure.
So you read Kawai Complex.
So I read Kawai Complex. I was like, this is pretty damn good. And I read Hibi Chow Chow, and I was like, this was very teenage angsty, which I kind of
And then you read
enjoyed.
Is Horimiya done?
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
still publishing. It's also monthly. It's actually working under the same premise that One Punch Man is, where it's originally a web comic
Uh-huh.
that's being redrawn by a professional artist
Mhm.
to look better. So it's definitely it's slightly more episodic than
Kawai Complex.
Kawai Complex. The drama that happens in that doesn't last as long
Mhm.
as the stuff that does in Kawai Complex. It usually gets resolved within the chapter, or within a couple chapters. But it's really sweet. It has amazing character development over a relatively short number of chapters at this point. It's just somebody saw, same as One Punch Man, somebody saw the
Webcomic.
potential within what was already written, and all it needed was
Was a good
really
artist.
nice visuals, which is exactly what was added, and it made it amazing. And then I watched a rather depressing, I read a rather depressing series after that.
Jesus Christ, Dawson.
This okay.
I mean, procrasitate more, man.
I am a master
Dude, I watched all of
procrastinator.
K within a day to procrastinate on the program.
How do you guys do this?
It's
Well, I mean, I've been working on the program, and I got less far than you did today. So I mean,
I know, I got about the same spot where you are in about less time.
but that's kind of from some of my work.
I know.
I really like doing things I'm not supposed to be doing, and I get most interested in things when I have something else I am very much not interested in. Is the way things work for me. But it was I read a 8-chapter manga series that is apparently one of the highest rated mangas.
Is it realistic?
Out there. It's pretty realistic. It's about a girl that goes to meet a convict on death row, and from there things continue.
Things get spicy.
They don't get spicy. They get sad, and they stay sad. They stay sad.
I'm never gonna touch this, so keep going.
But yeah, it's just a really quick 8 chapters. It was honestly really well done.
But you needed to read something else. So what else did you read?
After that, I think
God.
I don't know. I'm possibly missing another manga in here that I've read, but I believe that's everything I read. And now I'm halfway through a shonen romance about a dude who gets stuck in a mirror. I don't remember the name of it, but it's pretty interesting. I'll update you when I finish that.
You got like all the manga cred.
Dude.
I decided, as I wish to procrastinate, I decided I was gonna pick a format that I wasn't super familiar with.
So bad at reading, it's weird.
See, I'm also like that. Like, I caught up with so much stuff over the summer. I was like, I have work to do. I'm going to go read all of Jitsuwa 3 times.
Yeah. Oh, also, I've been keeping up with a Korean... I forget the name for Korean mangas. It's not manga. It starts with an M. It's like M-A-H something. It has
Manga.
Yeah. Mahanga. No. It's like Mahawa or something like that. That's totally wrong. Ignore my terrible pronunciation. But a web series of a Korean web series called Lookism, which is actually really interesting. It's getting translations like every couple of days. They like put out 2 to 3 translations of this series, and sometimes it even has like audio clips pushed in with the stuff. It's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it. It's about a guy who is bullied and then switches schools, and then something vaguely supernatural happens, and from that point on, he lives his life quite differently, and it's kind of about perspective and body appearance and stuff.
There's another manga that I heard about where it was like a dude likes a girl, but like his appearance, like she rejects him, so he moves schools, becomes super hot, and then meets the girl again.
Is this the one that you've talked about, Connor?
The revenge one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the one I was talking about for a while, and I want you to read that just to know.
Did it end?
No, it's still going, but it's ruining itself because you know exactly where it's going.
He's gonna forgive her, and they're gonna get together.
It's gonna be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's what's happening here.
Yeah, he's gonna fall for her on the way. Okay, anyway.
I really like that moment in Kawai Complex where they just talk.
Yeah, they finally get to talking.
There are people calling for the girl's blood. They're like, no, fuck her. You're losing point of the purpose. This is like that's what made it original from the beginning. Like this is revenge. She's trying to get. Anyways.
Honestly, you should try
I'm going to
reading...
send you the link. I wanted to read it just because you're somehow a god at reading here.
Dude,
I can read anything.
You do understand, I read all Yamada, like 170 chapters at the time, in like a night.
I did the same thing. I watched the first episode of Yamada when it came out, Yamada-kun, the 7 Witches, when it came out from the first season. I was like, this looks really interesting. I might read the manga. And I started reading the manga, and I finished reading the manga, and I stayed up all night.
Did you do the same thing with Berserk, though? Like you're like...
I did. Berserk took me 2 to 3 nights.
But that's
because it was so heavy.
Yeah.
I had to take a break in between. Yamada, I went straight through. Shokugeki, as soon as I caught up to where I was, I went straight through. UQ Holder, as soon as it got interesting, I went straight through.
Yeah, dude.
Basically, as soon as something really catches my interest, I'm gonna lose sleep over it. Like, that's honestly, how I gauge how good something is, if I need to lose sleep over it.
I don't think you'll lose sleep over this one.
No.
I busted through UQ Holder in a day. Like,
yeah.
That was a day of me just like, I have work to do. UQ Hoarder pop up on my screen. Day gone.
Might as well. Yeah, if I lose sleep over something, or if it negatively affects my grades, it usually means it's really good.
That's great.
It's an absolutely terrible way to gauge quality, but it works surprisingly well.
Like, let's see. I read Railgun. I
This
just
is
UQ Hoarder.
I mean, Railgun I read in a couple
It's
hours.
turned into a tangent. It's great.
Yeah, no,
It's just tangent.
this is the perfect time.
episode.
But yeah, I'm slowly attempting to become the king of romance mangas. Slowly but surely. I have a backlog that I'm working through.
Dude,
right now.
once I'm done being busy, I have like 3 up on the docket that I'm just gonna blow through in just like no time.
Solid.
Like, I can't read that in class. I can't read Prison School in the back of
No,
class.
you can't read. You definitely should not read Prison School in the back of class.
You should watch Valkyrie Drive in the back.